regardless of whether or not these plates are authentic, the fact that we're talking about plates, to David's point, is a great point. The fact that we're even talking about this and that this is plausible. Remember, Reverend M.T. Lamb, who wrote The Golden Bible, one of the OG anti-Mormon books, quoted as saying, "No such records were ever engraved upon golden plates or any other plates in the early ages." That quote did not age well. And Dr. Hugh Nibley once said, "It will not be long before men forget that in Joseph Smith's day, the prophet was mocked and derided for his description of the plates more than anything else. They laughed us to scorn for, over almost 200 years until we started discovering this stuff."
Even if this was a 100% forgery, it will have done nothing more than prove the first 200 years of anti-Mormonism wrong.
So in this episode, Ward Radio is talking about the Saudi Arabia plates that have since been shown to be a forgery. So first of all, M.T. Lamb's book was published in 1887, so I'd hardly call it one of the OG anti-Mormon books. But yes, the quote didn't age well because it was poor scholarship to begin with, at least in this one regard. The idea that people believe that the ancient inhabitants of America wrote records on metal plates is well documented. In 1775, Indian trader James Adair said that he found 2 brass plates and 5 copper plates that were found at the Tuckabatches Indians of North America. Then in 1805, Reverend Thaddeus Mason Harris stated that plates of copper had been found in some of the mounds, but they appear to be parts of armor. Erasmus Turner reported in 1809 that a New York farmer plowed up an ancient record or tablet. He said that it was made of copper and had engravings on one side. In 1811, Reverend Claudius Buchanan published a book in New York, saying that the Cochin Jews of India were remnants of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, and that they kept their history on plates of brass. In 1816, the Philadelphia Portfolio reported that thin plates of copper rolled up were found in one of the mounds. Then in 1823, John Hayward described human bones of large size, and 2 or 3 plates of brass with characters on them resembling letters, found in one West Virginia mound. And even in 1823, Reverend Ethan Smith, author of View of the Hebrews, held that the Indians once had a book, which they had for a long time preserved, but having lost the knowledge of reading it, they concluded it would be of no further use to them, and they buried it with an Indian chief. Even the Apocrypha, which Joseph Smith had, references brass plates. Heck, even Solomon Spaulding used this lore in his unpublished book Manuscript Found. I don't think Joseph Smith was mocked because he said he found ancient records on metal plates. Plenty of people were doing that, even within the Mormon Church. I think many people mocked the fact that a treasure digger / glass looker was making reports that a treasure guardian turned angel had given him a set of plates that no one saw, and that the witnesses who said that they saw them with their spiritual eyes were not credible. They mocked him for the contents of his book, that many parts were contradictory to the Bible, and yet many parts were plagiarized directly from the Bible. They mocked the fact that Joseph Smith translated the book that no one saw by putting his face in a hat and looking at a rock. They mocked the fact that magic spectacles were found with the plates. They mocked the fact that Martin Harris sold his farm to fund the printing of the Book of Mormon. Also, how in the world does a forged set of plates prove the first 200 years of anti-Mormon literature false? That makes no sense.